For longer than I'd like to admit, I've been holding both JEPI and SPYI in the wrong accounts, okay? And not because I didn't understand the funds. I understood for sure the mechanics. I just wasn't really thinking carefully enough about one specific question. Does the tax efficiency of each fund actually matter in the account where I'm actually holding that fund? And once I asked that question, honestly, the answer was really obvious. And the correction I made changed how much of the income I was actually keeping. This isn't a complicated idea, but it's one that most people holding covered call ETFs are getting wrong right now without even realizing it. So let me explain how JEPI and SPYI, SPYI, generate income, because the difference really matters enormously once taxes enter the picture, okay? JEPI, JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, holds a diversified stock portfolio and sells equity-linked notes to generate its options income. The monthly distributions it pays are primarily classified as ordinary income. Ordinary income is taxed at your regular federal tax bracket, potentially 22, 24, 32% or higher, depending on where you specifically fall. SPYI, the NEOS S&P 500 income ETF, generates income differently. It uses actual S&P 500 index options rather than ELNs. Index options qualify for what's called Section 1256 tax treatment, where 60% of gains are taxed at long-term capital gains and 40% are short-term. More significantly, a large portion of SPYI's distributions have historically been classified as return of capital, meaning those distributions aren't taxed at all in the year you receive them. Instead, they reduce your cost basis, deferring the tax until you sell. One fund generates ordinary income, one fund generates return of capital and tax advantage distributions. That difference is meaningless in a Roth IRA, let's be honest. It's very meaningful in a taxable brokerage account though. And here's the framework that really makes the account placement decision clear, at least for me. A Roth IRA has one fundamental feature. Nothing inside it is taxed. Dividends, distributions, capital gains, ordinary income. It all compounds at the same rate. Zero tax ever on qualified withdrawals. That means a tax-efficient fund inside a Roth IRA is not more valuable than a tax-inefficient one. The tax character of the distributions is irrelevant because nothing is getting taxed anyway. SPYI's Section 1256 advantage and its return of capital classification do nothing for you inside the Roth because you didn't have a tax bill to avoid in the first place. JEPI's ordinary income classification also does nothing against you inside the Roth. The income arrives at and reinvests at the full rate completely untouched. So if tax character is neutral inside the Roth, what does it matter? Yield and distribution frequency. JEPI and JEPQ win on those metrics for the Roth. Higher yields that compound tax-free, generating maximum monthly cash flow for reinvestment during accumulation. The taxable brokerage account is where tax character really becomes a real financial difference. Holding JEPI there means paying ordinary income tax on every distribution every year. Holding SPYI there means most distributions are return of capital, not taxed this year, deferred to the future, potentially at lowered rates. The after-tax income from SPYI in a taxable account is meaningfully higher than the after-tax income from JEPI in the same exact account. But let's talk about the actual dollar difference here. And let me put numbers on this so it stops being abstract. You hold 50K of each fund. JEPI yields approximately 10% on 50K. That's around $5,000 a year distributions. You're in the 24% tax bracket. Tax owed on that 5K, $1,200. After-tax income, $3,800. You hold 50,000 of SPYI. It also yields approximately 11 to 12%. On 50K, it's roughly $5,500 per year. But if 70% of the distributions is classified as return of capital, only $1,650 of that currently is taxable. At 24%, that's $396. At 24%, that's $396 in tax. After-tax income, $5,100. Same position size, similar yield, completely different after-tax result because of where each fund generates its distributions in the tax code. Over 5 years in a taxable account, that difference compounds, okay? JEPI is costing you more than $800 per year in additional taxes compared to SPYI. On a $50,000 position over 5 years, that's over $4,000 in additional taxes paid. Money that would have stayed in your account and continued compounding if you had the right fund in the right place. But what happens when you swap them in the wrong accounts? And here's what I was doing wrong and why it really matters. I had SPYI in my Roth IRA and JEPI in my taxable account. SPYI in the Roth completely wasted tax efficiency. The return of capital and the Section 1256 treatment are completely irrelevant inside the Roth. I was I was preserving a tax advantage in an account that had no tax to even avoid. JEPI in the taxable account, paying ordinary income tax on every distribution every year, the fund's higher yield looked attractive, but the after-tax number was significantly lower than the face value suggested. The fix was simple: swap them. JEPI and JEPQ go in the Roth, where the ordinary income classification doesn't matter and the higher yield compounds fully. SPYI and QQQI go in the taxable account, where the return of capital and tax advantage distribution structure actually means something and helps me out. But let's talk about what QQQI adds to the taxable account picture. While we're obviously talking about taxable account placements, QQQI, the NEOS NASDAQ 100 high income ETF, deserves the same treatment as SPYI. QQQI also uses index options with Section 1256 treatment and has historically distributed a significant amount of return of capital. It's essentially the NASDAQ 100 version of the same exact structure. Higher yield than SPYI because NASDAQ 100 options obviously pay richer premiums and similar tax treatment that makes it significantly more efficient in a taxable account than JEPQ would be. Taxable account, SPYI and QQQI. Roth IRA, JEPI and JEPQ. The yield is similar across both pairs. The after-tax retention is meaningfully better when each is in the right place. Look, the mistake I made and that a lot of people are making right now, don't even know it, isn't about which fund is better. Both JEPI and SPYI are legitimate high-quality income ETFs. We know that. The mistake is treating them as interchangeable without even thinking about where their specific tax characteristics actually can help you out. Tax efficiency only matters where taxes apply. SPYI's return of capital advantage and Section 1256 treatment are real benefits inside of a taxable account and meaningless inside of a Roth. JEPI's ordinary income classification is a real cost in a taxable account and irrelevant in a Roth. Match the fund to the account where its character matters. JEPI and JEPQ in the Roth, SPYI and QQQI in the taxable, the income you generate may look similar on the surface, the income you keep will be noticeably different. Got some questions for you guys as always in the comment sections. Number one, do you currently have JEPI in a taxable account? And have you done the math on how much the ordinary income tax is costing you annually? And number two, are you holding SPYI or QQQI in a tax advantaged account where their return of capital treatment is doing literally nothing for you? Let us know down below in the comment section. I always like chatting with you guys. And if you are a beginner wanting to get into all of the income investing strategies that we talk about here on the channel, click the first link in the description of today's video. It'll take you to the Ark Options Strategy workshop, 90 minutes long. At the end, you get my 15 favorite stocks, all under 30 bucks, my 2 premium calculators, and my full trade log template. That'll be the first link in the description of today's video. Guys, remember, sell options, click premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.